The 2020 approach to the 2021 UK border. The plan for the new UK border. Hello. And a warm welcome to the Tools Club mini-series of videos called The 2020 approach to the 2021 UK border, which also is part of a wider program of videos from Tools Club called A Customs and Standards Primer. All of which are for beginners. Anyway, we are down here. The UK plan for the new border. And as we see, the UK plan for the new border is preceded by all these other videos. And although these deal with different issues, in many ways, all these previous videos deliver explanations and knowledge that provide an interesting background for the videos that follow. The content in these previous videos can pleasantly resonate when watching the subsequent Tools Club videos that comprise the UK plan for the new border. An elevating experience indeed. And in 2020, to counter the effects of coronavirus on business efforts to prepare for the end of transition, the UK developed a phased approach with regard to activating controls on its customs border. But let's not forget, a lot of work and preparation took place in the few years leading up to 2020 as well. And this series of videos not only touch upon the UK-EU trade agreement, but, as a bonus, I've also squeezed in rules of origin too. Rules of origin plus various other general aspects of UK customs border controls. And many of these, plus many SPS controls we'll be looking at, are indeed introduced in stages from Jan to July 2021. And all for beginners. All better with headphones too. Hurrah! And to start, at the time of writing, we were on the December 2020 version of the UK border operating model. Let's open that. Okay, fab. Go to gov.uk/transition. And scroll down to Announcements. Click that. Government publishes updated GB-EU border operating model. News story. This is the page. And scroll down to the bottom. The updated border operating model can be found here. Click that. Scroll down a bit. Policy paper. The border operating model. And the border with the European Union. Importing and exporting goods. And we're on the December 2020 version. 159 page PDF. And jump to page 5. So, as you might have guessed, this particular video is really an introduction to my subset of videos called The UK Plan for the New Border. And as a heads up, I'll cherry pick some points directly from here. Work and holiday travel. Trusted traders. Cooperation and data sharing. Trader requirements. And I'll do a very brief jaunt into marketing standards at the end. Nothing complicated or too in-depth. To start, the new UK-EU trade agreement. As an aside, I just want to point out, you couldn't wish for a better explanation of the new UK-EU trade agreement than on this page, given on the gov.uk website. International Treaty. Summary explainer. And we see the contents of this page listed here. And you may see the trade agreement referred to as the Trade and Cooperation Agreement. TCA. And a lot of information on this page too. That's nice. But for my humble purposes, page 5, the border operating model, is fine. So, jumping back. Spending 2 or 3 minutes on page 5. And with some cheer. Kicking off with the new UK and EU trade agreement is the first trade agreement the EU has ever reached that is based on zero tariffs and zero quotas. A zero tariff, zero quota TCA. Hurrah! The deal provides carriers, hauliers, as well as traders, with a degree of certainty when moving goods to and from Europe. And over here, 100% tariff liberalization. No tariffs on trade in UK and EU goods. So, what this means is that rules of origin are now applied to trade between the UK and EU. To assert, these will be eligible for zero tariffs and trade liberalization. And we pretty much dedicate the entirety of the next video to introducing these rules of origin, but at a beginner's level. An easy-to-follow exploration of rules of origin. Hurrah! For now. Simply note, there will be no tariffs on trade in UK and EU goods that comply with rules of origin. And again. Hurrah! Also, work and holiday travel. Although the EU ID card is not accepted for security reasons and such, the trade agreement does allow people to travel between the UK and EU easily for work and holidays. I remember holidays. Continuing with trusted traders. Not for everybody, but recognized trusted trader schemes, authorized economic operator schemes, etc., still continue post-transition. These allow the smooth flow of goods for businesses meeting pretty stiff criteria. And I guess these would usually be businesses with large volumes of goods movements. And as such, I would imagine that smooth flow generally translates as international bulk movements that benefit from a low admin overhead. Cooperation and data sharing. The trade agreement also provides for ongoing cooperation regarding public, animal and plant health issues, and it limits technical barriers to trade, whilst allowing the UK and EU to maintain full control over their respective regimes, i.e., rules, standards, processes, etc. The trade agreement also promotes data sharing and provisions to facilitate trade. Trade, I guess, including but not limited to animal, public and plant health goods, as well as other applicable trade, contributing to around 45% of goods moving through roll-on, roll-off ports. But there are also other provisions to address any non-tariff barriers that arise. Plus, a commitment to process customs documentation efficiently and maintain both transparency and ongoing work to simplify customs procedures wherever possible. Common protocols to prevent fraud too, as well as to recover unpaid taxes on both sides. All this, and more, as the result of the UK regaining control over its borders. Indeed, we might recognise the UK-EU trade agreement somewhat as a historic feat, achieved in time and to order, allowing businesses to continue trading smoothly. And that's great. Trader requirements. But as we see, the requirements for traders, as set out in the previous July and October 2020 versions of this border operating model still apply from January 2021. You can find such trader requirements in this December 2020 version too. So, as well as that which we have already seen, what are the trader requirements for moving goods between the UK and EU? Okay, briefly. A GB and quite possibly an EU EORI number. But also, customs declarations and safety and security declarations on imports and exports. But also, processes and procedures with regard to sanitary and phytosanitary controls, and other conventions too, such as the Common Transit Convention plus a raft of other conventions. All still apply. And I introduced conventions and controls in the previous Tools Club video, but we will examine a few related details in later videos. And that's fab. But, next, let's jump down some pages and look at marketing standards. Okay, great. Page 34, Border Operating Model. Where is it? Okay, yep. Scroll down a bit. And marketing standards. In brief, marketing standards. If you are an exporter selling to the EU, then EU marketing standards aim at establishing a standardized and satisfactory quality for agri-food products available on the EU markets. To do this, they set out technical definitions, classification, presentation, marking and labeling, packaging, production method, conservation, storage, transport, related administrative documents, certification and time limits, restriction of use and disposal. I would imagine that, still so close after the Brexit transition period, UK marketing standards might well mirror EU marketing standards too. At least for the time being. Let's take a quick look. Pause where you like. We can jump to UK guidance. Marketing standards for fresh fruit and vegetables. Relating to compliance. We see there are two sets of marketing standards, specific marketing standard, SMS, which applies to a range of fresh produce, we see here. And general marketing standard, GMS, which applies to most other fresh fruit, vegetables, nuts and herbs. And for more help working with EU marketing standards, access full details, by sector, from here. Guidance. Food and drink businesses, working with the EU. Scroll down a bit. What you need to do, as a food and drink business, to work with the EU. Labeling. Importing and exporting. And more. Marketing standards. For each of these products. Help with non-harmonized food products. Staff and more. Fab. Closing tabs. So, the learning point here is that when importing and exporting, the rules are detailed, and retailers, both in the EU and UK, should make sure they understand and follow the advice given in both UK and EU marketing standards for yummy-looking agri-food produce, in this case. Marketing standards. Related, but not to be confused with marketing surveillance, which is a gov.uk body that works with other sector-specific and multi-sector bodies to monitor non-food goods. And we covered marketing surveillance in the previous video, called Conventions and Controls. Marketing surveillance applies to non-food, electrical goods. And the Conventions and Controls video also includes an entire section on standards, goods marking and labeling, for non-food, electrical goods. You should definitely watch that video. Although easy to digest, it is jam-packed with lots of information. Anyway, closing. This video touches lightly on a handful of issues related to the new UK-EU trade agreement. I hope you have found it useful. If you like, there are plenty more Tools Club videos, before and after this one. Plenty more to keep you engaged. Entertained even. But, whatever you do, live well. Stay safe. And here's hoping to see you again, in another Tools Club video. Fab. Ah yes. Almost forgot. In the next video. Introduction to rules of origin. That's nice.